Taxations. That is what is happening in Nigeria. Taxes and taxes. Well, Wike has said that Nigerians must pay higher taxes if they must enjoy more. I wonder what Nigerians are enjoying right now. But anyhow, if only Nigerians understood how unprecedented it is in the history of governance to have a leader in a peacetime cause inflation to rise by 122%, wiping off about 75% of currency's value, that is the naira, slice away half of the GDP and still balloon the national debt by 20%, all in under 15 months. That is what is happening in this administration. And what you've just watched is what is happening in the streets, in the districts, in the communities where taxation, where government send people to go and collect taxes. People won't even allow the NEPA or PHCN officials to even climb their poles. That is the reaction of the people. However, welcome to Obidient Family TV. The program is Hope Alive. Now, good morning, afternoon, and evening, depending your time zone. Once again, we are to bring you what is happening in Nigeria. And what is trending currently is 42 billion naira. How National Assembly members padded into 2022 capital projects. A federal College of Horticulture, Dadinkowa, Gombe State, a proposed project of 368 million in the 2024 capital budget, but the National Assembly approved 42.7 billion, a whopping sum difference of 42 billion naira. That is what we are going to have a discussion, and of course we have different things that we are going to discuss, especially as you know the organized labor that we mentioned yesterday went into a dinner with the federal government, even while Tinubu and Shetima is out, but declined to disclose the meeting outcome with the federal government regarding the nationwide high fuel costs. But anyway, with me, joining me to have these discussions are active Obedience and Nigerians who, of course, want to show their displeasure in what is happening. But let's start with the reaction from ex-users who are, of course, citing that very padded 2024 budget and how the National Assembly are doing all of this. Let's start with Sebastian Ebeyong, who said that my question is, why is no one ever called to account for all these padded budgets? Why are we beginning to see things as normal, year in, year out? It is the same story, yet no one has ever been indicted. Why is that so? That is coming from Sebastian Ebeyong. Then, we have the major news coming out from Budget IT Nigeria, who earlier tweeted that, which way, Nigeria? Let us fear God in this country. Because how can you explain this? The Federal College of Horticulture, Dadinkowa, Gombe State, proposed 368 million, but the National Assembly approved 42.7 billion, a difference of 42 billion. How are these insertions okay for a country struggling with loans and a high debt servicing ratio? Kai! There is God, though, that is coming from Budget IT. And of course, we have the Daily Justice Act, which said that Nigeria is a confirmed criminal contraption. Everybody or country all over the world knows this. And that is why even war-torn countries, including Libya, disrespect the big for-nothing place called Nigeria. Are you surprised even Libya is disrespecting the contraptions, super egos? As I type this, they are actually doing so. Then we have from Jeremiah Adetunji, who said, I love data. So the school graduates 65 students per annum on the average. Even the sum of 368 million is much more for them, going by their average productivity rate, let alone padded 42.7 billion. We should build more prisons in this country because that is where many belong. The people that belong there, of course, we know are the people from the National Assembly. Welcome to Obidient Family TV. Let's get this very topic going on. Let's have the talk coming from Mr. Bassi. We have Mr. Tony. We have Christian, who are outraged by this very whopping sum of 42 billion naira to be shared by the National Assembly. But thank God that this is out now in the open. So let's get the discussion going on. Mr. Bassi, you told me how outraged you were, how, of course, not surprised on the padding, because we have been talking about the padding of the 2024 budget, and of course it has fizzled into Nigerians are always like that. Push them the wall, they are elastic, they keep bending back, and that is it. But as of today, Budget IT has opened it up. What is your take, Mr. Bassi?
Thank you, Mr. Kanu. Good evening. Thanks for having me. Good evening, my Zoom panelists. Good day, Obidient and listeners across the world. I feel so upset when I see reports like this. First of all, I want to use this opportunity to appreciate the work that Budget is doing by exposing some of these ills in the governance budgeting. I feel sad because and upset. This is a nation that is grappling with a lot of insecurity, high cost of living, poverty, starvation, and yet the people that we call our representative, who are supposed to be the true representation of the people, are the ones shortchanging Nigerians, doing this kind of evil against the people they claim they represent. It is annoying. It is very sad. When you look at the kind of the humongous amount of money that these people are fleeting away on a daily basis, this is just the one that can be seen. And I can tell you that, remember, the same budget came out and made an assertion that over 2 trillion was padded in 2024 budget. And I must tell you that this is very, very sad. How can the people that we ask to represent us are the ones who are conniving with the executive to kill Nigerians? What is the hope of Nigerians? Where do we go from here? Is it not high time we sack these people from the National Assembly? I did say some time ago that we don't have a National Assembly. Let us go and occupy that place and send them away, because they are not representing the interests of Nigeria. They are only serving their interests in that place. This is some of the things that are going on in the National Assembly. And you can see them living fat. Let me draw your attention that these people know the strategy they use to steal money, the strategy they use to commit these atrocities. They will go to some of those government establishments, NDAs, that are in rural, so-called, maybe some of those rural areas. They will go and activate certain projects that will never see the light of the day. Even the 300 million from the inception wasn't even supposed to be. Tell me, what is the productivity level of that institution? Like somebody rightly pointed out.
Okay, so, let me bring this to your attention. That is this very school of horticulture in Dadinkowa. The statistics you're talking about here is first, they have graduated 1,357. And I want you to note that this very school is over 20 years as established, because it come from at the time of, I think,
this guy.
Olusegun Obasanjo. Now, they have graduated just 1,000, they have trained so far about 1,500 people, just 1,500 people. Then, that is students. Now, they have also done about matriculated 603. So, out of the people that trained, the people who matriculated is 603. And the school in particular is over 20 years in the making. So, if this very school in total has just about 1,000 plus that they have as students so far, 21 years of existence, and you have to map or budget 42 billion, 42.7 billion for a school that is rolling out only 1,500 students. Is that not crazy?
That's exactly what I was trying to say. So what you are saying that averagely in a year, that school admit about 75 students, averagely. So you can imagine the kind of atrocities that our lawmakers are perpetuating on Nigerians. They use some of these unknown MDS or schools to launder their money. They will build in the budget that such schools don't have the capacity to handle, because they know nobody's going to go to some of those rural environments to go and fact check and do oversight function. So this is what we have. I think it's high time Nigerians rise up and do something about this National Assembly. It is not good enough for us every now and then to be focusing our attention on the executive. We need to also beam our searchlight on the National Assembly, the lawmakers, because they are the ones perpetuating every form of evil that is befalling this country. If they have lived up to their responsibility in oversighting the executive, this will never happen. But it shows that they are working in connivance with the executive to kill Nigeria, to perpetuate this injustice and this criminality upon this country. So it's high time Nigerians rise up and begin to do something about it. We can't just be sitting down and thinking everything is going on well, that they are representing us. They are not representing anybody. What they are doing, they are representing their own individual selves and their cronies. So it's high time we rise up and do something, because if we allow these people to stay 4 years in that place, we will find out that we will not have a nation at the rate that they are going. I know that the man that is at the chairman of the National Assembly is anything goes. Whatever comes, he just put a stamp to it. And these are some of the things why they cannot even succeed in impeaching him, because they have used money to close a lot of mouth, and those people cannot even stand up. Imagine the opposition. How many opposition have risen up to stand against these anomalies? None, including the so-called Labour Party, who used the goodwill of PO to enter the National Assembly. Look at what is going on. So this is very, very sad. And I'm very, very angry about this. I feel Nigerians should troop up, pour out in the street, occupy the National Assembly. If we stay in National Assembly and send them away, it is better we know that we don't have a National Assembly than we have one that is killing this nation. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So I think you made that very point. But there's something before you go that I want you to get your own opinion on. You know, currently there is to be a leadership vacuum in Nigeria. The VP Shetima is off, and Chief Bola Tinubu is also off, and we can see federal government is giving reasons, and Nigerians are asking questions. Where is their leader, the person who is occupying the seat of the presidency and all of that. What is your take on that? And also earlier we shared a video where we see that Wike has mobilized people to go and tax Nigerians, especially in Abuja and elsewhere. But the video, of course, that we brought is showing tax collector, people they send in to go and collect taxes around, and people have started fighting them, and a lot of commotion is going out in different areas of Nigeria because of taxation. Just within 1 minute, give me your take on this too.
As for the president and his vice that are out of the country, it's sad. Well, it's also not surprising. And you wouldn't believe that they'll use every amount of energy they have to justify that action. Like the fact that this thing happened during the era of Muhammadu Buhari, that was illegality. That was abnormality. So if it happened then, do we now institutionalize that as a normal thing? For God's sake, why should the president be out of the country and the vice president at the same time? Even if it is for 24 hours, that shouldn't happen. We always tend to make reference to other nations. America, US, France, Britain. We make reference to some of these countries. Where on earth have you ever heard that American president at the same time? It never happened. No matter how important that this thing, they rather send the Secretary of State to go out and represent the nation, which in this case should have been the issue, where the Minister for Foreign Affairs should have been sent on that assignment, rather than the VP going out there. So it shows you how these people are. They don't even care what is going on in this country. Why would they care? Because they know that they have settled themselves. They have made sure that the whole place is well secured. As they go out, they can go and enjoy themselves and then come back. Nigerians will be there waiting for them. This is how they have looked down on Nigerians. And we don't care anymore about them. And what is the other thing? Oh, this is the era of technology. You can govern from anywhere. You cannot govern from anywhere, because you are not the president of anywhere. You are the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria that has a sovereignty. So our sovereignty does not extend beyond Nigeria.
Yeah, but Mr. Bassi, what about the threats coming out from the National Assembly? There were rumors of an impeachment to the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio. And we see videos and pictures of DSS officers filling the whole National Assembly, but they came back to counter it as a fake news. Do you think it's fake news?
There is no smoke without fire.
Exactly.
For that to happen means that something is going on. Some people are not happy about the manner by which Godswill Akpabio is handling the affairs of the National Assembly. I think it would be a welcome development if that can be seen through, because we can't afford to be having a National Assembly that is photocopy of the executive. That should not be. And then back to FCT minister that is calling for Nigerians to pay tax and so that government can be alive to their responsibility. The question I would like to pose to him, please, how much tax is Nyesom Wike paying in all his years of amassing government resources? How much tax has he been paying as an individual? I can tell you, where if you see their tax this thing, you will see that these people don't even pay up to 1 million naira a year in taxation. And yet they'll be talking about Nigerians paying tax. Must you kill Nigeria because you want to build infrastructure?
All right, thank you, Mr. Bassi. let's quickly jump to Mr.
So it's high.
Mr. Christian, I don't know if your mic is open. Can you tell us your take on this? Because Mr. Bassi's network seems not stable. But all the same, Mr. Christian, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Mr. Kanu. Good evening.
Okay, please tell us your opinion or your take on this 42 billion naira exposed scam of the National Assembly, and of course the other things that we have been discussing. I believe you've had them. Quickly give us your take on them so that we can move on.
Mr. Kanu, the 42 billion that is making the rounds is just one out of thousands of cases where budgets, the national budgets, is being padded at the National Assembly. It's unfortunate that these budgets were said to pass through several stages before the final approval. How come nobody cited this budget padding? It's a crime against humanity that an institution submits less than 400 million naira budgets, and the same budget that they submitted was being padded with 42 billion. That is unimaginable crime against humanity. The country is bleeding
on one project,
as they so claim. On no project in particular, no project. That's what they call budget padding you're hearing about. The money is, the extra money on it is not going to be given to the institution. Of course, how can the institution even manage such fund? They don't have the capacity to manage such funds. It is an institution that has less than 6,000 students. How do you expect them to manage such funds? The budget was deliberately padded by the National Assembly. And these are the atrocities of the Akpabio-led Senate. There is nothing about transparency that they are handling over there. Unfortunately, these are the people that are making laws for Nigeria. So I don't expect anything good from the Akpabio-led National Assembly. As far as I'm concerned, they are only there to serve their interests and nothing but their interests. But even if you serve your interests, this is outrageous. How can you make this up that an institution submitted less than 400 million and you are padding you with 42 billion? 1 billion is more than the 328 million thereabouts that the institution demanded for through the budget. 1 billion is, then you are padding 42 billion. Nigeria is
what I wanted to, excuse me, Mr. Christian. What I wanted to ask you is, if we are seeing this and is out there in the public space for even EFCC and other agencies, anti-graft agencies to see, do you think that they are involved in this, or they are in collusion with the National Assembly in doing all of this? Because we have not seen anybody who is indicted or prosecuted as a result of padding of a budget that is actually exposed, because there are several that has not been exposed. But this one, and also a correction, that institution is has students not more than 1,600 thereabout. They are not up to 2,000 students, and they are more than 21 years in existence.
Mr. Kanu, what do you expect from the EFCC? Since the last time we had an iota of activity from the EFCC was since Obasanjo administration. Since then, there has been never any case that was instituted against public official that got to a final conclusion and prosecution. All we hear about is EFCC going after Yahoo boys. How many politicians are behind bars for their corrupt acts. This is just one out of millions of cases of corruption that have been happening. So as far as I'm concerned, the EFCC, they are just wasting everyone's time. They are doing nothing in the office.
Okay.
On a final
the
note,
other issue, yeah, on the issue of
in that regard, I don't
yeah,
rate or expect any miracle from the National Assembly, neither from the EFCC to do the right thing, because they are all in the same pot of Tinubu. He recommended them. He assigned portfolios to them. So you don't expect them to do anything contrary to Tinubu's interests. So that is how the Nigerian security agents or anti-graft agents have been reduced to. They are reduced to party manifesto. They do nothing outside the party's interest that is in power. They are just toothless bulldog. They do nothing in office. They only wake up in the morning, go to the office. You tell me what they have done.
Yeah, talking about the toothless bulldog, earlier on you were telling me about Nwosu Wike's village and
or whatnot, how he's taxing Nigerians but was unable to do anything for his people in Rivers State, especially from the village where he comes from.
Wike is just another empire of corruption. He has looted Rivers dry. Unfortunately, none of his family members can boast of $1 million. That's a slap. Meaning that he could not change the life of Rivers State indigene positively, neither has he made any impact nationally that he could be remembered for. Having failed in all ramifications, he also failed his family. So how can one justify his continual occupation of government offices without anything to show for his family? From the look of things, we are all in the same pot, frying. So with Nwosu Wike, he's always being self-magnifying, trying to show that he's doing one thing or the other. They call him project minister, Mr. Governor, who is always commissioning projects. Look at this, even in his village, we got an expo that there is no any functional private school, primary school in his village, not to talk of healthcare. So there is no road, no motorable road leading to Wike's village. You know, if God wants to punish a society, leave them with bad leadership. Bad leadership sum up the punishment that is meted on Nigerians. I wonder why the country is so blessed, yet the worst set of people who are spearheading leadership position in the country. And that's why we are not making progress.
All right, thank you so much for that, Mr. Christian. Okay, let's quickly hear Mr. Tony's take on this very particular issue of 42 billion naira. How Mr. Tony might
be now that this has been exposed. Do you think their sharing formula will work again? Or you think that the authorities will swing into action? This, of course, has taken like 48 hours since this very expose, and we have not seen any news conference on it. We have not seen the National Assembly talking about it. But of course, Nigerians keep talking. Do you think that Nigerians talking alone will bring out the culprits of this padded sum?
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Kanu. Glad to be here. This issue of budget padding going on for God knows how long. Since 1999. If you remember correctly, Obasanjo was so angry about that. But he himself could not do much about it. So this has been an ongoing vandalization, criminal vandalization of our resources by the very few. So who is going to open his mouth and say, we are going to investigate this? It's been going on. And remember what they did to Senator Ndume. Just because she spoke the truth, they sanctioned him heavily. So they are using also intimidation to silence anybody that will venture to say something. So it's part of the culture of state capture. Who is going to do anything about this? You're talking about the law enforcement agencies. Those ones can be settled and they will shut up their mouth. It's all about settlement. And they continue doing what they are doing. Nigerians looks like we have been murdered. I mean, dead. That nothing makes us angry anymore, to a point that we can say this is not good. Enough is enough. No institution in this country, no government official in this country can you vouch for. None. I can tell you that. I can tell you that. None. So it is a feast on our common resources. Where these guys go over there to do. That's it. I remember in those, even way back 1999, they are using the MDAs, those so-called National Assembly members, to pad money for themselves in terms of projects in their constituencies. And you see none, barely none, of any projects in those their communities, because they pocket the money. So this, I'm sorry to say that this is not how a country talented, with talents as we have, with resources as we have, could be compared to Afghanistan and South Sudan in terms of food insecurity. Those two countries are better than Nigeria as of today. They've improved in their food security areas. But why Nigeria is going backwards? It's because of the malfeasance that is going on in our institutions. Nobody cares. Ministers, the heads of departments, it's mind-boggling. I'm telling you, it's mind-boggling. This can, in many countries of the world, it can't. It cannot. There's no way it can. The corruption here, when people talk about corruption in other countries, the corruption here is 100 times over what you see in other countries. This one is that nobody cares. Everybody's doing whatever they want to do. And you see people on network, TV, radios, newsprints, complaining, saying that this country cannot survive doing this. The question is, what do we do to stop it? What can... I don't. In terms of from him. I can advise him if he wants to listen to my advice, to pick a phone and call Enugu State Governor Peter Mba to advise him on ways to collect taxes. Peter Mba has been killing indigents of Enugu State with all manner of taxes. Name it. Even to the point of taxing dead people, corpses, the mortuaries. It's incredible. The other day, they promoted this Yam Festival. They were calling on people to come out and enjoy themselves. And the people came. Do you know what? They charging 2 naira, which they never mentioned during their during the whole time they were calling people to come out and enjoy themselves. They started charging 2,000 per head. That tells you what we are dealing with. Enugu people are being killed with all manner of taxes. It's even said that they are dusting the old statute books, trying to figure out what they can find so that they can use it to tax people. On top of the numerous taxes they've levied against Enugu people. Let him call him. He can give him some idea. So when they tax the poor, people who sell pepper and okra on the roadside, Wike will make a lot of money in Abuja. He can tax people walking on the streets too. So this is madness. The poor people are the ones paying taxes in this country, particularly civil servants. And these so-called trade unions that we are supposed to represent the masses, not just civil servants.
Okay,
there
Mr.
are more.
Tony.
Yes.
Yeah, Mr. Tony, I just wanted to, I know our time is going up. I just wanted to bring your attention the issue of the power, the leadership vacuum in Nigeria, and of course, the other issue of, as you recall yesterday, we discussed about the Labour and the TUC going into meeting with the federal government as regards the fuel increase. But the Labour unions came out and they were saying, because we had something from one of the government officials who actually said that they all met, of course, had dinner, this might be. But let's take a listen before you just, say something about that very quickly.
These are just general discussions. Government is always desirous of engaging with labor. This is one of such engagements. We will continue to interact with them. We don't wait until there is tension about anything before we engage labor. So this is a renewed commitment on behalf of government to continue to engage labor on a number of issues. These engagements have been very fruitful, and we will continue to engage with them. Well, a lot of things were discussed, but like I said, it's work in progress. This is something that is not a one-off thing. We have not reached anything that we think we can tell Nigerians now, but what is more important is that there is going to be continuous engagement between us and labor for the good of the country. You know that labor is an important component of this country. All of them are our brothers and sisters. Government is there for everyone, including labor. So we will continue to engage labor for the good of the country. We will continue to do that.
At the day when the National Economic Summit Group have finished a 3-day interactive session, and the corporate Nigeria civil society organization development partners government, in particular Mr. President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, was represented by His Excellency the Vice President.
So, Mr. Tony, this is just a very short clip showing.
The labor unions met with them. We can see the ministers there who are speaking about what went on. But the clear thing that we are bringing to your attention and your thoughts are, why is it that the labor unions who came out of that meeting of yesterday on behalf of the Nigerian workers, but not communicating, as it were?
Yeah, of course.
Mr. Tony.
The government is trying to preempt any call for action against the fuel hike. That's what it is. And the labor union, I think, problem in this country. I think they are factionalized, so they can't, without concern among themselves, agree on anything positive that can help the Nigerian masses. Because you have one side saying, supporting Tinubu. You have the other side trying to do what is necessary. And it has put them in a state where Nigerians don't trust them anymore. How can they meet? And one of the commissioners said they were just trying to say, hey, how are you? How are you doing? That is not when there's a problem that you call labor union. It's a lie. These government officials, they keep lying to us. We know that. They're trying to preempt any by the labor unions. Demonstrate. That's what it is. So this country is a mess, my brother. I don't know. So here we are. They're hiding everything. Maybe someday we will know.
Thank you. And okay. And of course, you've not mentioned anything about the leadership vacuum. As you know, Shetima is off, Tinubu is off. What is your take? 1 minute.
Well, are they following the Constitution? If they are following the Constitution, if they're abiding by the Constitution, I think a lot of things in this country will be done according. How can the two of them jet out of the country? Who is now in charge? Is that Akpabio or who? Or is it just ministers manning the government? So, I mean, the administration of democracy in this country is not what to write home about. We are just floating in the air. And the question I ask, these Western democracies championing democracy around the world, and when they see things going wrong, particularly in the case of Nigeria, they tape their mouth shut. They won't say anything to support the people who the democratic process is supposed to benefit. But when the men in uniform says enough is enough, now they begin to jump on them to criticize them. They're not following democracy. That's hypocrisy. It's hypocrisy to the core. When you see a country drifting, the so-called democratic state drifting, you won't tell them what they're doing is wrong to correct them. These countries know that Nigeria is polluted with corruption. Still, they say non-interference in internal affairs of other countries. Nonsense. Oh, they support them. They close their eyes when all these leaders are conducting impunity in terms of in the guise that they are practicing democracy. It's not how it is done in your countries. Why not help Nigeria in particular? 220 million people, they say. You want them to drift. And when something happens, that's when you jump out and start criticizing, saying democracy, democracy. Is that how you practice democracy in your countries? No. Pathetic. Really.
Mr. Tony, thank you so much. Thank you. And viewers, thank you so much for being with us.
We appreciate your time, and this is as much as we can take on for today. Of course, there's so much that is happening in Nigeria, and we don't have enough time to discuss all of them at a time. But tomorrow we have so much other things packed up for you to hear from us. And of course, do like, share, and subscribe. For those of you who are coming new, Obidient Family TV is here to always bring you what is trending in Nigeria, and also try to bring opinions that might proffer solutions to it. Thank you once again for watching. Until tomorrow when we come your way again. Bye for now.